I know this is my first normal movie review since, oh god, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. But if it makes you feel better, I do watch and consistently support all sorts of different movies that come to my theater, and even though I don't make video reviews about them, I do talk about them on my Letterboxd. So please go follow me there, guys. I promise I watch way more movies than this. Okay, please. So before we even begin talking about this thing, I think we need to address the elephant in the room. Every time a video game adaptation comes out in theaters, it's usually a very fun watch because a lot of the game fans end up watching it during the first opening weekend, making it feel like an event as you're watching it. The Mario and Five Nights at Freddy's movie and arguably the first Sonic movie would have been so much worse if it weren't for the fact that I was watching it with people who were as passionate about the game as I was. The Minecraft movie was a completely different experience and a whole new monster that's been bred at the theater experience that's going to cause consequences for the future. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So I ended up watching this one twice. Once on a Thursday night and another on a Saturday night, and the difference was night and day. Thursday was a great experience since a lot of the people there were my age, aka the age range who's still able to appreciate the game of Minecraft while also not taking the movie too seriously, but not in a way that ruins the experience for others. You know, we clapped ironically at certain sections and laughed at the obviously bad sections, but Saturday's viewing on the other hand was it was like that, but if everyone was on cocaine. I guess since most kids and teens were off on the weekends, I ended up catching the brunt of all of this shit at this showing when I went to go see it with my little brother. There was so much screaming before the movie even started. They clapped at every fucking line that Jack Black said, and they wouldn't stop saying, which first off was fine until this random kid who thought he was the funniest person in the world just said it over and over and over again, and every single time he said it, every other goddamn kid decided to say it too. I don't know, but like it just made me feel so old because I didn't want to hate on what seemed like a cultural event, but my god, I fucking hate kids. Overall, it was still very fun because it's the Minecraft movie and it's not like The Brutalist or something. But with some of these clips that I'm seeing, it makes me a little bit worried that these same people who go see this movie might act the same way they do for future releases that I actually care about. Like, are they gonna act like this when the new Superman movie comes out? Because I don't know if I can handle that. Is this a little bit hyperbolic? Yes, but I can't help but feel like the lack of respect for the theater experience can put the industry in a bad place. Especially considering that these people could run out the chill casual movie fans who go see a movie once in a while, the cinephiles who go watch every single movie in the theater, and themselves because they only watch the popular stuff. I don't know, but I always see people mention how bad theater etiquette has been and how it's ruined the experience for them. And the rowdiness of certain movie watchers has hit an all-time high for this movie. I don't know what the implications of that are, but I don't think it's a good thing. That's for damn sure. Anyways, what are we talking about again? Oh yeah, that's right. The kids movie. So what do we even start with this conversation? Fuck it. Let's start from the beginning. The Minecraft movie has been in development hell for ages, with it originally meant to be directed by Rob McElhenney of It's Always Sunny fame all the way back in 2015.
And Sean Levy.
10 years later, it's now officially released and directed by Jared Hess, who made some classic comedies like Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre. Because of that, I didn't have the lowest of all expectations for this since I knew at the very least it would be somewhat humorous. And I mean, that's exactly what I got. I can't feel anger or disappointment towards this movie because I did this to myself. I knew what I was getting into regarding this movie. I knew it was going to be bad, and that's why I watched it. So don't get at me saying that I should have known better, because I did. I did know better, and I did this to myself anyways. So, before we get into the bad parts of this movie, I do actually have some good things to say about this movie. Ever since the trailer came out, the whole Minecraft world with normal human beings clashed so goddamn hard that I don't think there was any way that would have worked whatsoever, yet I found it to be actually good looking sometimes. I mean, it's freaky as hell. And some of those creations will give me all sorts of different nightmares, but like, they put so much effort into the way the movie looked that it actually put the MCU to shame. How the hell does this movie have more effort put into its CGI than Captain America 4?
Since when were they red?
I mean, keep in mind, I know it's got nothing to do with the workers, and it's got way more to do with the time constraints, but I still think it's funny to think about. Jared Hess's visual directing was interesting at times, and reminded me of some of the scenes from Napoleon Dynamite, and I'm sure there are genuine references to the actual movie itself too. One that I can recollect was the tater stuff. A very random reference, but I think it was a very cute gag, and just like moments like that, I think some of the humor genuinely worked, especially with Jennifer Coolidge, who I think was genuinely funny, and some of her scenes were very well written for what it was. She actually fits this movie way more than anybody else, and to fit in a movie like Minecraft is incredibly impressive, and that's about where all my positives end. This movie is really, really bad, but it's also really, really funny. And not like a normal funny, but like it's just so bad that it ends up being funny. So let's go ahead and talk about the shitness of this whole thing and movie. I want to mention the plot, or lack thereof. As you can see, I do not like this movie, but if you've seen my reviews of Five Nights at Freddy's and Mario, then you notice that as bad as those movies can be at times, that I did enjoy them because they were able to take their story and adapt it in a decent way in the film, making it somewhat coherent. The Minecraft game doesn't particularly have a clear plot because it's what you make of it, so the whole plot of the movie is just not there. Things just kind of happened, and you can tell they did not know where the movie was going when writing it, because a lot of this movie feels rushed, with even the creative set pieces just not being fleshed out in any sort of way whatsoever. Five Nights at Freddy's and Mario at least try to explain things in a natural movie kind of way, but the Minecraft movie struggles a lot because all they can really do is just randomly mention things that can be made and things that just exist in the movie without much of a setup, which is fine, but with how rushed the beginning and ending of the movie felt, I feel like they could have set some time to actually set the movie's setting up without just explaining random shit as it's happening. The writing throughout this movie is just not good. They couldn't even write a half-decent plot. The dialogue is a special kind of bad, but they were so self-aware about how terrible it all was that it genuinely made me laugh at times. The goddamn
first we mine, then we craft. Let's Minecraft!
And just anything Jack Black said felt so unserious that it kind of just blended together into what felt like an SNL sketch, which sometimes can be funny, but a lot of the times it just tries too hard to be ridiculous. You can absolutely tell how hard the actors are trying, since it's the only way this movie can work. And although Jack Black and Jason Momoa are trying their damnedest to be cartoon characters, everyone else around them just lacks so much, and it genuinely seems like they're not good actors because they're not good actors in this movie. The kids, or I just found out she's not a kid, but she looks like one, are so bad. And Danielle Brooks just does not fit this movie at all. She just seems so uncomfortable being there half the time, and her character doesn't even do anything in the movie. Actually, Danielle Brooks and Emma Myers' character go off on this side plot, and then are never really seen that much after that, and have as much impact in the movie as Jennifer Coolidge's character, who's not even in the Minecraft world. The movie knows that this is Jack Black's movie, even though Jason Momoa is very close to reaching his level of ridiculousness, and honestly, they do have some good chemistry. But it's still a bad movie with bad writing leading to bad performances, so I don't know, take that as you will. Now it's time to talk about the references to the game, since all game adaptations do that now, and I think this one does it in a different way, I guess. No game adaptation is subtle with their references to their game, but Minecraft is the least subtle in this movie, with Jack Black having to explain every single little thing in this movie, with him sometimes blurting random objects, and just in case the viewer who knows nothing about the game doesn't get confused. I feel like it just makes them even more confused than they already were. That's why I don't think that particularly works well in the movie, as they just bring you into a whole new world without much of an explanation of what it even is and why it exists. which once again I see as completely fine, but when you try to explain little things like what certain things are, it just doesn't add to the world building and makes things so much more confusing to the average viewer. But you know what? I'm fine with that too, because at least it adds humor, because Jack Black, every time he says an item, he just completely exaggerates his line deliveries, making all these memes possible in the first place. There are a ton of game elements that don't get explained either, with some of the things explained not mattering since we don't spend too much time on anything. Like the mansion that everyone gets past very easily, because, you know, I don't know what this game is trying to tell me this, but the game is trying to tell me that this kid who's never played Minecraft before and has never seen an enderman either, just kill it in a matter of seconds after Jack Black just mentioned how hard it is to kill them. The one realistic thing about this scene though is how hard they made it seem to fight a baby zombie, since those little bastards are the bane of everyone's existence. The game related stuff here is a bit contrived and inconsistent at times, but that's obviously the least of the movie's worries, as it seems like not a single person gave a shit about stuff like this, because they know that we as the audience only want to see Jack Black say lava chicken and chicken jockey. There's not much else to say about the movie itself, because there's so much stuff outside of the movie that is just so much more interesting to talk about, like how this movie became the biggest opening weekend for a video game adaptation with $163 million domestically and $313 million worldwide off a $150 million budget in one weekend. This is sure to make an insane profit and will probably be the first American movie of this year to reach $1 billion. And if you don't believe me, then look at how big the Mario movie was. Just look at it. Yeah, no, that's huge. Look at that opening weekend. This movie is and will be bigger. You can see why I'm making a bigger deal about the implications of this movie and the surrounding culture around it. Because, you know, we look back when Barbenheimer happened, and I'm sure there were rowdy people during that, but this is a whole new level that you only really see at concerts and that one Taylor Swift movie. Either way, I made a prediction a couple years ago, I think. Doesn't matter. Here's the thing, because of the success of this movie, I just know for a fact that I can totally see video game adaptations becoming the dominant film genre over the superhero genre, if not already. And this movie just absolutely reached new heights in the cultural sphere and within box office records and shit like that. But who knows what's gonna happen next with, you know, how the culture surrounding it has been incredibly toxic, the meme culture around it being so all over the place, and how that's gonna be for, you know, future marketing regarding movies. All I know is it's not going to be good. Either way though, the movie was funny. It was worth watching in the first weekend with all the people that were there to ironically shitpost about the movie, but now that they have all seen the movie, the meme is going to die, and every showing afterwards just will not be as fun. So I don't recommend this at all, unless you take drugs.